and as well house and groups. The Madrid one. Everybody have our school. I have London Underground. I have to go to London 5 years because when I was teaching in Spain, I was a pastor. I selling records before internet, importation records, American. You know why? Because I get the best record for me. And the next I sell in another region, another states.
Oh, okay.
So the DJs, the local DJs don't have that music. Only me.
Only you. Well,
pastor.
It's always good. It's always good to have other music where other DJs get it. I mean, I used to walk down there in Chicago. I used to go down to Roosevelt Road to I forget the name of the place and try to buy it. But that's when the records were $2 and $3. They're not $2 and $3 anymore. So I guess that's showing my age, right?
I spend all my money in records. You remember TMC?
Right.
Disco Miss Club, the records, the T-shirt, everything. I spend all my money on that.
Right.
Masters at One, Tough Jam. I love these guys.
Right.
Top DJs.
Well, we got a few new DJs, new people joining. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
My name is DJ Lab. Of course, we got DJ Milk D up in the corner, DJ Faraday. We just going over, trying to wait for a few more people to come into the room. We appreciate you all.
And as well, house and groups. The Madrid one. Everybody have our school. I have London Underground. I have to go to London 5 years because when I was teaching in Spain, I was a pastor. I selling records before internet, importation records, American. You know why? Because I get the best record for me. And the next I sell in another region, another states.
Okay.
So the DJs, the local DJs don't have that music. Only me.
Only you. Again, we can get started. There's people. Well,
pastor.
It's always good. It's always good to have other music where other DJs get it. I mean, I used to walk down there in Chicago. I used to go down to Roosevelt Road to I forget the name of the place and try to buy it. But that's when the records were $2 and $3.
Absolutely. What's going on, Gary?
I spend all my money on records. You remember TMC? Disco Miss Club, the records, the T-shirt, everything. I spend all my money on that. Masters at One, Tough Jam. I love these guys.
I see Benson's coming in.
Well, we got a few new DJs.
Is that DJ Dimon?
Hello,
yes, I can't change my name for some reason. I don't know what happened.
That's okay.
How are you doing?
We just going over, trying to wait for a few more people to come into the room.
How are you?
Appreciate you all.
And as well, house and groups. The Madrid one. Everybody have our school. I have London Underground. I have to go to London 5 years because when I was teaching in Spain, I was a pastor. I selling records before internet, importation records, American. You know why? Because I get the best record for me. And the next I sell in another region, another states. So the DJs, the local DJs don't have that music. Only me.
Well,
pastor.
It's always good to have other DJs get it.
I listen to your sets in Ibiza status ready.
Thank you. You too. Absolutely. What's going on, Gary?
I spend all my money on records. You remember TMC? Disco Miss Club, the records, the T-shirt, everything. I spend all my money on that. Masters at One, Tough Jam. I love these guys.
I see Benson's coming in.
Well, we got a few new.
What's up, is that DJ Dimon?
Yes, I can't change my name for some reason. I don't know what happened.
That's okay.
How are you doing? Hi there.
Just going over, trying to wait for a few
Long
more
day,
people.
but I'm good. How are you?
Appreciate you.
And as well, house and groups. The Madrid one. Everybody have our school. I have London Underground. I have to go to London 5 years because when I was teaching in Spain, I was a pastor. I selling records before internet, importation records, American. You know why? Because because I get the best record for me. And the next I sell in another region, another states. So the DJs, the local DJs don't have that music, only me.
Well,
Bastard.
it's always good to have DJs.
That's it.
Yeah.
I listen to your sets in Ibiza status ready.
Thank you, you too. Absolutely. What's going on, Gary?
I spend all my money on the record. You remember EMC? It's Communist Club. The records, the t-shirt, everything. I spend all my money on Let me see, Reyes is gone. Masters has gone. Tough Jam. I love this guy.
I see Vince is coming in.
Well, we got a few new.
What's up, is that DJ Dimming?
Yes, I can't change my name for some reason. I don't know what happened.
That's okay.
How you doing? Hi there.
Just kind of going over trying to wait for a
Long day. How are you?
And as well, house and grooves. The Madrid one. Everybody have our school. I have London Underground. I have to go to London 5 years because when I was DJing in Spain, I was a pastor. I selling records before internet, importation records, American. You know why? Because I get the best record for me. And the next I sell in another region, another states. So the DJs, the local DJs don't have that music, only me. Bastard.
It's always good to have DJs.
That's it. Yeah.
I listen to your sets in Ibiza status ready.
Absolutely. What's going on, Gary?
I spend all my money on the record. You remember EMC? It's Communist Club. The records, the t-shirt, everything. I spend all my money on Let me see, Reyes is gone. Masters has gone. Tough Jam. I love this guy.
I see Vince is coming in.
Well, we got a few new.
What's up, is that DJ Dimming?
Yes, I can't change my name for some reason. I don't know what happened.
That's okay.
How you doing? Hi there.
Just kind of going over trying to wait for a
Long day. How are you?
And as well, house and grooves. The Madrid one. Everybody have our school. I have London Underground. I have to go to London 5 years because when I was DJing in Spain, I was a pastor. I selling records before internet, importation records, American. You know why? Because I get the best record for me. And the next I sell in another region, another states. So the DJs, the local DJs don't have that music, only me. Bastard.
It's always good to have
That's it. Yeah.
I listen to your sets in Ibiza status ready.
Absolutely. What's going on, Gary?
I spend all my money on the record. You remember EMC? It's Communist Club. The records, the t-shirt, everything. I spend all my money on Let me see, Reyes is gone. Masters has gone. Tough Jam. I love this guy.
I see Vince is coming in.
Well, we got a few new.
What's up, is that DJ Dimming?
Yes, I can't change my name for some reason. I don't know what happened.
That's okay.
How you doing? Hi there.
Just kind of going over trying to wait for a
Long day. How are you?
And as well, house and grooves. The Madrid one. Everybody have our school. I
have everybody here. And you in your car, Ojo.
Yeah, I was on the move, so hello to the room. Hello to the room.
Yeah. DJ Lab, this is Ojo. He's from Chicago as well. I was telling you about him.
No, I'm not actually from Chicago. I'm from Springfield, but Chicago's like my second home. I'm in Illinois. I'm in Illinois as we speak.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
That came
I
in.
think I got the sound corrected. Okay. Well, it's a pleasure meeting you all. I think I got the sound fixed,
Awesome.
so we should be okay.
Sweet.
Wow.
You there, Lab?
Do you want me to go ahead?
Yeah. Go ahead. Continue. I'm sorry.
Yep. All right. So I'm Gary. I'm in Scotland, so hopefully you can understand my beautiful English, and that I'm very clear. I am probably a bit different to everybody in that I am not a producer. I'm not a DJ, but I've loved house music since age 15. In Scotland, when I was 15, that was 1995, and there was quite a big hardcore rave scene. So like Dutch hardcore and heavy techno. Carol Cox, in fact, he played quite a lot of like old school ravey kind of stuff back in the day, and I just kind of fell in love with electronic music at that point. And I got to age 20, bought some decks, but realised I couldn't listen to it. I didn't have the P to the end. So I ended up getting into playlists and making house playlists, and then sharing a lot of content on social media, which led me to build up a nice little audience of 50,000 people who follow me now on social media for sharing videos, funny videos, cool videos, and things like that. So I'm creating a marketing and social media business within the dance music world at age 43. So I'm eventually following my passion through different routes rather than DJing and producing. Latterly, I've been doing a thing called Behind the Decks. So I've been going along to events and just doing a bit of filming and sharing that out on social media for some people that I know. And also Andy Love Fever that's on tonight, we do a nice little collab every week where we do Tune of the Week. So it'd be cool if you guys wanted to sort of get involved in that and cast some. But yeah, that's my background.
Thank you, Gary. Yes, everyone, please follow at the Playlist DJs. You can send me a message after the Zoom and I will share his profile with you. Like he said, man, he's not a DJ, he's not a producer, but he's passionate about house. And yes, the love he gives for DJs and producers is astronomical. I've been following him now for 3 years. His page is fantastic, and he has spread the love with me. That's how I met Andy Jacobs. Please follow him, Gary at the Playlist DJs.
Appreciate you.
All
right, who you got next?
Let's go with Fun Puff, who I met recently through my bro Sean Travolta. Both of them are in the DC area, and I am truly blessed to, of course, know everyone in this room, but meeting Sean Travolta has opened up so many branches for me. So mad respect to Sean Travolta, but up on deck, mad respect is Fun Puff, aka Karen.
Hi everybody.
So I've been a house music fan forever. I'm originally from Cleveland, so we, you know, it drifted down the Midwest a little bit. And then I also ended up living in New York City in the 90s, so it was all about for sure. So also I lived in Michigan for a while, so I do love Detroit techno, a little drum and bass. Actually just started DJing like in the pandemic essentially, and we can blame Sean Travolta for that because I met Sean and he's like, you need to start DJing. Everybody
that dude up there.
So we can blame him or we can hold him responsible. I don't know. But yeah, so I'm like the baby DJ of the group probably, so it's kind of intimidating, but I do enjoy it. I also have another friend that's encouraged me, and he and I threw some like parties in DC, like at small venues with like we call them Afro Boogie. So they have like an Afro house spent. So I do love to play Afro house. I find it super easy to mix in and out of, for one thing. It's like the drums are really easy. You know, I like a lot of percussion. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks, Sean. And I met Berto in Croatia last year. He was part of the Croatia defected crew. So
that's fire.
So I kind of met Sean too. Sean is the thread.
Yeah.
That holds all of us
Sean's
together.
the thread.
Thank you, Fun Puff, for sharing. And we keep talking about Sean T. So let's bring him on the mic. Sean T, let's go.
Let's get Sean up in there.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Can y'all hear me all right? Give me a thumbs up. All right, cool. Essentially, I'm just a Bronx kid. Grew up in the 70s, obviously. I'm an old kid at heart. I was fortunate enough to, you know, like a couple of people mentioned, listen to the house on the radio. You know, it was one of those things where I was really into hip hop. And anybody from New York know when you fall asleep and you wake up after 12 o'clock when DJ Red Alert was off, it was all house and stuff after that. So after that, I started listening to it, listening to a whole bunch of WNYU, some of the college shows, listening to stuff coming out of Jersey. That was it. It was a wrap. I was fortunate enough to join the Air Force. While I was in the Air Force, moved around, got stationed in Virginia, was like, yo, house is out somewhere. Like, all right, it's cool. So that broadened my horizons a lot. Then I was fortunate enough in 96 to get assigned to England. So I was assigned over to all my, you know, my English packs, my English keeps up there in Scotland. I was assigned down in Suffolk at RAF Milman Hall, and I was there for 10 years. Upon getting there, I got introduced to the entire sound, more sounds that I ever thought I'd be introduced to. Namely like French House, you name it. I was there for UK Garage. Who's that? Love Fever. I'm all about X6. My wife's from Colchester, so I know what you're about. And for Gary, yep, I've been up to Edinburgh a bunch of times, so I know what you're about. But essentially, essentially all of those sounds basically melded with me. I started DJing in about 97, hooked up with a friend of mine who was basically a B-level DJ tied to Ministry of Sound. He toured around. I hooked up with him. I got the DJ in Zurich, Croatia, Lyon. I got the DJ at the Dome in 2000. I got to go into the Baby Box of Ministry in 03. I've been all over the place. So for me, DJing is like a collective thing, a community thing. You know what I mean? It's how you get after it. It's that energy, like, let's go. You know what I mean? Right. It's all of us together as like a random brand of family. You know what I'm saying? We may have been strangers out there, but now we all acquaintances getting it. So essentially, that's my mindset with house music. Not a producer, although I got enough tech in here to produce something. I haven't used it, so I'm just lazy with that. But yeah, as Karen knows, and Berto will probably tell you, and Milk D, I just tried my best to share the music as much as I could, whether it's somebody that needs to hook up with a DJ, become a DJ, get new gear to be a DJ, or we all just gang up and go to Croatia and go to Defected and come back. So enough about me. Yeah, that's me, Sean Travolta. Nice meeting y'all, and nice being part of the group. Peace.
Great name, man. Great name.
Sean. Appreciate you, bro. Like I said earlier, and Fun Puff said, man, you know, you have put out those branches. Even you said it. Mad respect to you, bro. I know we're only like 90 miles away, but I wish we were even closer. I'd probably be wearing you out.
We could meet in Fredericksburg.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, my wife likes going there. That's true. But thank you for sharing, Sean T, and opening up your branches. Next one on deck is BZ from Virginia Beach. Let's go.
Is this working?
Yep.
Yes.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Alberto BZ Reyes. Met Sean. Sean hooked me up with Fun Puff. Fun Puff hooked me up with Milk Tea, and here we are. And these two other guys over here, Bernie, Spain, Sylvia hooked us up with that. I'm originally from Connecticut, 45-minute ride into New York City. That should say it all right there. I grew up on house. We were taking the train up into the city every fucking weekend to grab some records. I remember going into one of the record shops and hearing Soho Hot for the first time. We bought like 4 of them joints, brought them back. I've been doing like DJ. I DJ back in the days on CDJs, on 1200s, because my boys used to do it. So I used to DJ with them, mostly for fun, baby shower, stuff like that. Nothing crazy. And then pandemic hit, picked up I want to say a piece of shit controller. And I was doing, I guess, according to my man T and Sean and all them, they were saying I was doing an amazing job on that piece of shit controller. So when I got back from Croatia, I upgraded to a DDJ, and here I am. I want to thank, and I've been doing pretty much mixes for Milk, for Yurrrp, you know what I'm saying? Doing mixes for Spain, for La Urban Radio, for Sylvia Moore. And I just started my own little radio show for the UK, started last weekend, Sundays, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern, 8 to 10 UK. And I just love all this stuff. I just love house to the core, man. I don't think I do anything without listening to house. Work, sleep, shit. I wake up to house. The house is my life. So I appreciate this. This is awesome. I think this is dope on another scale. I've never done anything like this before. I'm not really a public speaker, so forgive me. And that's pretty much it for me. I want to thank all y'all for collaborating. Everybody's gonna, everybody's sound here. I think I've heard everybody here. Everybody sounds dope. And if I could share anybody's mix or promote your shit, if you're down with me, I'm down with you. I'm gonna look out for you. You look out for me. That's how it's supposed to be. We family. So if you posted something up and you got something going on and I see it, I'm gonna share that with as many people as possible. I think I share with about 45 different house music pages on Facebook. So believe it when I say we're being shared, we're being out there. All right, without further ado, I'll let the next person go. Thanks a lot. Appreciate y'all.
Hey, BZ, man, super salute. I appreciate you, bro. And he's spot on. He's been really promoting Yurrrp Radio, my new radio station. He's been sending me mixes and just helping the house music stay alive. And Lab and I were talking before all of you guys jumped in, and we believe, house music is on an uptick. Like, not that it has died or anything, but I feel like it's just getting bigger and bigger. So sharing and doing sets and just talking about it is keeping it alive. I want to go with now DJ Divin, who I just recently met.
Hey there, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm DJ Divin. I don't know if you can see it. How you guys doing?
Good.
Good. I'm originally from Italy. I was born and raised there. So I've been in the United States for about 20 years, something like that. And I'm always been like a house music lover. Since my teenager years, that's all house music just moves me. It's just something that I really feel, and I just can't describe the feeling of it. I'm doing mixes for Ibiza Stardust Radio, and I'm doing mixes for Ruckus Radio USA. They're located in Phoenix, Arizona. And then I did a mix for Yurrrp Radio. And I'm also trying to do some producing. I started a couple of songs and I'm still trying to work on it. One is kind of a soulful house track, and the other one is more like a house track, but I'm still working on those two tracks, and I think I need to concentrate more on those. But I've been so busy in doing mixes and stuff, and I got a little bit sidetracked from producing. But I have all the tools here with me to do them. So basically, that's it. I mean, I'm looking forward to collaborate with you guys. And if you have any questions about me, just ask. I'm here, and thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you, DJ Divin. Thank you so much. I appreciate you and Karen introducing me to more DJs. I have a DJ from Italy, and now I have a DJ from France, thanks to you guys. Now I want to open up the door to my brother, DJ Ojo. I call him the King of House. He's a bad man. He is a bad man.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, the floor is yours, bro.
Well, again, DJ Ojo, originally from Springfield, Illinois. Got into house music on a trip to Chicago, visiting family and things of that sort. My cousin took me to the Bismarck, downtown Chicago. It was an amazing scene. So from that point, I got hooked. I've been into house music since then. Didn't start DJing house music until some years later. Of course, I love the Chicago sound. I try to do that as much as possible. Get into the soulful as well, but I like my stuff beating hard. I like the hard bass. So if it's got some thump to it, I'll try my best to play it. So eventually moved to Virginia. Kind of got out of house music for a while during my career, into my career and everything, and then moved to Richmond, Virginia. Finally got back into it, and then started hanging out on the scene there. Then that's how I met Tony Fernandez, my boy. So just in the scene in Richmond, Virginia, and we eventually started a group called the Master Sound DJs. Myself, started off with Mark Stevens, Tony, Drake, James Clark, and then we eventually brought Tony Fernandez in and Doug Smith. So the core now is myself, James Clark, Tony, and Doug. So we started a house music festival in Richmond called RVA Soul House Fest. So that's been going on since 2016. I also started a musical fest here in Illinois, House in the Field. So that's going into its third year as well. And I think that's about it. So I just love house, and thanks to Milk D, he introduced me to some other folks around here. So it is what it is. So I'm a house music head. I'm a house head for life, I'm trying to be like Tony Fernandez, though.
Oh, man. Get out of here, bro. Milk D's right. You a bad man.
I do what I can.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Hey, Tony, you're no slouch either. I mean, seriously, all jokes aside, everyone in this room brings it. And I'm just, it just motivates me even more to get in the lab, and that's not a jealousy, that's a compliment. Because Sean Travolta is another bad man. So there's a lot of bad DJs in this room. But the most important thing to me in this room is the love for house. Like I talked about Gary earlier. He's not a DJ or a producer, but has mad love for house music. So next up, though, without me rambling, is my man DJ Fernie from Spain. Let's go, DJ Fernie. Let's go.
Hi, pleasure to be with you and share our love for the house music. I started in the 70s, but in 84, I started with the house music. My school is the US old school CNC Music Factory, David Morales, Roger Sanchez, and the best house when I started in 84 was Technotronic and 2 in a room. Do you want? Nice. Mix maxers. Now I playing for Yurrrp radio, of course, Ibiza Status Radio, and Underground Solutions in Madrid, the international, 3 of them international music. I'm working for 3 agencies as well in Madrid, in Ibiza, and in Spain, in the north, Laredo. And at the moment, since I was a teenager, I spent all my wages in music, all in records, white labels, import. In 95, I've moved to London for improve my skills. I used to play in Shoe Bar in Leicester Square and spend all my money in Uptown Records, Pure Groove, in Archway, and release the groove. It's a big pleasure to meet people from my school, house school. Nice soulful house, nice music with clacks. I don't like EDM, I don't like techno, I don't feel it. My school is gospel. And that's when I love all of you, man, because I listen to mixes and I can't believe the MILD is white. I can't believe it. Respect all of you and big pleasure to improve my skills with you and share our skills and our music. Sorry for my accent.
No, it's good.
No apologies, DJ Fernie. No apologies.
And remember that I got contacts with the mob, just in case.
Hey, thank you, DJ Fernie. And also, I never thank DJ Ojo. Thank you, bro, for sharing as well. Mad love for you both.
No problem.
Hey, next up is my man Terry T. Snigg down in Tallahassee, Florida. What's up, T. Snigg?
What's up, guys? What's up? You can hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I switched to my audio box, but yeah, what's up, guys? My name is DJ T. Snigg, aka Terry, originally from Tallahassee, Florida, and yeah, I really got into pretty much EDM, house music, kind of as a whole in 2013. I've been a DJ since 2012. So yeah, there was Tallahassee's kind of a weird college town. So things kind of come in waves, including people. So there was a wave of just EDM and house that kind of came through Tallahassee, and there was just all these graves almost every weekend, a lot of house parties and stuff. And so that's kind of how I really got into house music, was just from really putting myself in those places. And I don't know, I just fell in love with it. It's definitely a like language of its own for sure. And I think that, you know, it's a language that only certain people understand. And I think it's in, for the first time, I felt like I kind of understood that language. And so I just really kind of got into it then. And then in 2013, I actually was one of the head DJs for Carnival Cruise Lines. So I traveled for about 2.5 years and was able to kind of really explore kind of all types of like genres. But I don't know, house was just always kind of like my favorite to like play. And so now here in Tallahassee, there's not really much of a house music like scene, and so it's nice to kind of like meet like a group of people that love house as much as like you do. So yeah, that's about it for like me. And so I'm definitely thankful that I was able to be a part of this, because Milk D and I met actually at a DJ expo in Jersey. And so like because I also produce also, and so he was kind of talking to me, like he was like, I'm really thinking about like producing and I just don't know how to get into it. And I just, you know, I was like, hey, just dive into it, just get into it. So it's really awesome to see him also kind of following that dream. And he's and so yeah, that's me.
Oh man, hey, appreciate you, T Snig, and he's spot on. We met at the DJ Expo in 2021, and we hit it off right away. He's right. That's when I first thought about being a producer, and then a month later, I purchased my beat machine, and I still don't know what I'm doing 2 years later. DJ Ojo, Honore, Kaz, Sean, I'd be sending everybody like, check it out. Basically, I'm struggling, but I'm not giving up on my dreams. You got to dream it, believe it, achieve it. So without further ado, I just mentioned them. Let's bring in Kaz. Thank you, T-Snake, for sharing. Kaz Music, you on the floor. What's good, Kaz?
Gotta find the mute button. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah. Yes.
Sorry, I joined late. I was doing it's spring break. I've got kids. We did a daycation and we ran over to Luray Caverns and just came home, checked my email, and I was like, uh-oh, there's a Zoom happening. Anyway, so my name is Camille. It's a French name. It's difficult, but right now I go by Cass, and it turns out that's my initials, in case anyone's curious. So I came up in the DC club scene in '99 is when I started. Worked my way through school as a wedding DJ, but for me, nothing wrong with wedding DJing. I did that to pay rent. I never was like feeling that kind of DJing. And so every weekend I was doing wedding gigs, and then afterwards I'd hit up the clubs, because that's where, you know, that's where I wanted to be. That's kind of music where I was really, really into it. And so that's how I came up, where it was, you know, corporate DJing and wedding DJing and that top 40 and oldies and all of that was great. I'm glad I did that. I am happy, because there's all kinds of music that people should hear, all different styles. But I did that for money, and the sort of underground clubbing DJing, man, I'll do that for a high five, right? Like it was just about the music. So yeah, so, you know, I did that for a while. Was going through school, got out of school, got my day job, kind kind of dropped the wedding DJing thing because again, I wasn't really feeling it. Still was DJing a little bit, and then in about maybe 2008, just cold turkey, my goals were really marriage and children. And it happened at the same time in the DCC, in a transitional period. Nation shut down. Other clubs were shutting down. The sound was changing right around that time, a lot of electro stuff. And for me, it was just about family. 8 years later, I hook up with an old friend of mine who was kind of next to the scene. He wasn't into the scene, but an old clubbing friend. And this was about four and a half years ago. And so we started hanging out, and I was like, let me see what the clubs are about now. Totally different, completely different than it used to be, than I was used to. And I was like, maybe I want to try to get back into it again, as long as I can keep the family thing the priority, the clubbing thing as a hobby for fun. If I could do that and the clubbing thing and the DJing thing makes me happy, I'd love to do that. But I didn't know about the music because I still was stuck in the disco house, funky house, 2000s sound. Like that was what I played back then. And I wasn't trying to change it because I was still listening to my old mixes and old Charles Feelgood and old DJ Dan and old Bad Boy Bill, that kind of thing. That's what I loved. And as I slowly started getting into it, not only are they still making that style, but they're making a lot of it. Although it might not be in DC, that might not be the style right here, but oh my God, the labels are making it left and right. So yeah, I'm here, and I'm loving it. So I've done okay. I mean, I'm not a superstar in DC. I don't play the most popular stuff. I get gigs here and there. The big thing for me is, as I started looking into things, as a lot of you have mentioned, I wanted to produce. Back then, I wanted to produce. But again, back then was so different, right? I know a lot more now than I did back then, but it was a lot more hardware based and less computer based. And I think just the price alone of getting equipment back then was almost prohibitive unless you're making, a ton of money. Anyway, so I'm looking into now, can I produce, right? What's going on? What's the deal? Well, hello, Ableton. How are you? So yeah, I had Ableton. I bought the license for maybe 2 years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago, I bought the license. And for about 1.5 years, it sat on my computer, and I might have run it once and looked at it and said, that's enough for today. And I didn't do anything else. And then again, in my mind, I'm like, I want to do it. I want to get to producing. It's okay if it doesn't work out, right? I just, you know what I mean? You're not sad. I'd rather try it and fail than never have tried it at all, basically. So yeah, I mean, I slowly started watching YouTube, and the beginning of this year, I released my first track. It went well. I still think, I have, what do they call it? Imposter syndrome, right? You're not good enough. You're not this, you're not that. All the memes you see, I feel every one of them, and I share them a lot because people need to know that, social media is whack, right? It's this fake baloney. There's so much other stuff, but don't let that stop you. I mean, either you want to do it or you don't. It's okay if you don't. It's okay if it doesn't work out, but go for it. I think for me, I'm ecstatic. I've released like 3 tracks. I've got 2 more pending, maybe a third, because sometimes the record labels email you weird shit and you're not sure what it means. And I got one of those. I'm doing really good. I don't work on music all the time. I have a family. I have children, and they're my priority. I'll take a month off, 3 weeks off of never touching, any music for producing. But I'll get back to it, and I'll do the thing, and I'll work on it, and I'm making it work, on my terms, and I love it. I'm having a blast. And Milk D is awesome. Everyone here, I know Sean Travolta, I know Karen Fun Puff. I think that's the only person I know. But I'm glad to be here to meet you, get to know you. You know, do the thing together. It's great. So that's my story. That's my story. I'm brand new to producing, longtime DJ. I'm happy to be here.
Hey, appreciate you, Kaz. And look, he's being very modest. He has a track out right now called Drum Funk. Straight fire. Come on, Sean T, BZ, Karen, you guys got to co-sign with me. It is fire.
Mad dope.
Yeah, tell him, Sean.
And the fact that he just started, wow.
Yes.
It's very impressive.
I've been at it for 2 years and my stuff is still off key.
It is so frustrating. It is. You don't see the frustration. You don't see the going to bed and you can't fall asleep for 2 hours because you're pissed off because the thing you wanted in your head didn't happen. I mean, it's real, right? It's real.
Oh man. Well, keep up the great work, Kaz. Thank you for sharing and much love again to Sean T for introducing me to you guys, man. Also want to give a big shout out to DJ Lab for hosting this whole event. I'm praying and hoping this won't be the first and last event. We still have Vince Slay to introduce, who is out of Richmond, Virginia. And I know him through DJ Ojo and Tony F. But Vince Slay has a radio station here in Richmond. The floor is yours, Vince. Hopefully you haven't dozed off. I definitely did not forget you. So you have the floor.
Okay. Hope you can see me okay. Just multitasking here. My name is Vince Slay. Hope the camera's okay. I'm not good with the camera though. But I started mixing back in 1978 actually. I was mixing back in Chicago, Illinois. I was grateful to have my big brother's best friend. He knew like Jesse Saunders and Clifton, and he would take us downtown to places like the Mansion, the Loft, the Warehouse. So I get a chance to see Frankie Knuckles mix live in his prime, at a young age when I was probably like in freshman in high school. It was fun. It was great times. And it inspired me to be a DJ. So I DJed back in those days. I was battling DJs, playing house music. Some of that old school stuff, kind of like what Sean was saying, old school house. And so I went to school after that. I got a DJ. I wouldn't say I got it. I went to school, went to college, DJed in college. I moved out east from Chicago to Virginia. And so Virginia, I was playing more. I was moved out here back when I guess Run DMC had Rock Fox and all that type of music. So I graduated, started mixing hip hop. I would mix like AJ, all that hip hop, which was fun. I think it was a real test of your mixing skills. And so from then, what I do was I went to the Winter Music Conference. I went to the Winter Music Conference, was inspired there by the DJs there at the Winter Music Conference. I kind of was, and I asked the guy, I said, how do you be a DJ here at the Winter Music Conference? So what he told me is, hey, send me a CD. And if you're lucky enough, you can be one of the DJs that, DJ when the guys come in. So I said, hey, I'm going to rejuvenate my house music career. I did that for like 5 years in Miami. It was fun, just to fast a little bit. And now at WRIR, I'm on the radio station. So it's fun. Been there now for 3 years straight. DJ Vince Slay now. It's been fun to rejuvenate my career. I play straight house. Now I'm still kind of stuck in that, I guess in that 2000s, 90s music, which I always will think is the best. So I'm I guess my idol is Frankie Knuckles. So you always should be talking about Frankie Knuckles, the Chicago, Jesse Saunders, good friend, Wayne Williams, Alan King, all those guys are my guys there. So, and it's good to have, have DJ Ojo come on the show now. I have Tony Fernandez comes on. And so I want to have more of you guys come on my show. So it's a worldwide show. It's broadcast every Saturday night, 11 to 1 a.m. It's been on for 3 years now. So my goal is to have everyone on here come on this show, talk about house, or, play your mix. So I'm all about that. Good to meet you.
Thank you, Vince. Thank you so much. Yes, Sean, not Sean, but Ojo and Tony could definitely vouch for Vince. I've never met Vince until tonight, but any friends of Ojo and Tony F is friends of mine. Thank you again, Vince, for sharing.
Good to be here.
I want to say everyone has spoke, Lab, and I know you have some questions you wanted to throw out there.
Yeah. I'm going to introduce myself. I don't know any of you. I know I follow Beezy on Instagram. As far as myself, I'm originally from Chicago. I started DJing in '83. Um, House music has always been my thing, from Hot Mix 5 and Farley and all those guys. I used to carry records in an early age for Ron Hardy for a while. I never really um, I never really got out of house music. I did go to college in '86. I was 16. Kind of got away from DJing for a little while. Moved here to Atlanta for 6 months. Tried to go to college here. Couldn't adjust to the situation and moved back to Chicago. Went to University of Illinois in Chicago. DJing for me was always an outlet. I always kind of just did DJing as an outlet to kind of relieve the pressures of the day. House music has always been a thing. Hip hop did come into play a little later on in my DJing career, but it never was prevalent. I've always been a house music DJ. I always been house music head. Period. Point blank. For me, there's nothing more. There's nothing better. I don't produce, even though I have producing equipment. All of us DJs, we always buy stuff we don't need, right? Buy cords we don't need. We buy, turntables we don't need. We always see something we need that we don't need. So I'm always buying things. It's just the nature of the beast. Even at 53, I'm still buying stuff. So that's never going to change. I have a pretty good studio. I got into the radio business, I want to say about 8 years ago. As a DJ, and then a year after that, we kind of started our own thing. I've always wanted this platform to be more towards house music, but it kind of strayed away from that because I live in Atlanta now. And at the time, house music really wasn't known in Atlanta. When you say house music, the first thing people say to you, "Oh, the music that the gay people like." And I'm like, no, that's not really it. But that's their idea of house music. That was their idea of house music here in Atlanta. Over the past few years, it has taken off a little bit with the Afro house and amo piano kind of music, but they're kind of stuck in that lane. That's kind of all they play. I'm old school house. Trackworks and warehouse and music box type deal. So I still stick with the classics as much as possible. Try to mix in the new stuff with the classics as much as possible. I find that people don't understand the classics. Unfortunately, they don't understand Chicago house music, Detroit techno, and stuff like that. They don't understand it. They don't get it, especially the younger crowd. They don't get it. They don't get the repetition of it. And I always tell people, even the younger people that I talk to, house music is not necessarily going to be like you think most popular music is. It's a feeling. You got to feel this music. It's about when you're dripping sweat and dancing in the corner, having a drink, talking to your friends. You're going to feel the music anyway. You're going to feel what it does anyway. That's what this is about. This is about love, man. This is about the love of the house music. It's about the love of the music itself. But people don't get it. So I've gotten to the point where I've stopped trying. And the house music scene here in Atlanta is coming up. It is getting a little better, like I said earlier. But it's cliquish. So if you're not within that clique, you're not going to be a part of that scene or a part of that event that they have going. And I've had house music DJs mix live on my station because we have video and audio that we stream live simultaneously. So I've had house music DJs come here and DJ live video and everything, do events, and still don't invite me out. Now they invite me to live stream their video, but they want to invite me to come DJ. So I kind of declined the video too, because I'm petty like that. I'm like, if you don't want to invite me to DJ, I'm not coming there to work. I'm coming there to have a good time. So that's where we are here. Been DJing since I was 13. I'm 53 now, so you can do the math. I just wanted to get together with Milk D. I only know Milk D here kind of personally, we've been talking over the years. All you guys are his invites because I just didn't want to invite anybody that I knew because I felt like they wouldn't come anyway. So I just left it like that. They always seem to be so busy, like everybody's so busy here, when it comes to DJing. Everybody has an event, everybody's out doing something, everybody has something going on when you invite them to do things. So I just chose not to bother. But I thank you all for joining us. It's been a real pleasure to meet and talk and hear about some of you guys' stories. I hope I want to do this again. It's an endeavor, but we're going to do it again, most definitely. The question that I have for you all is, on the scene of house music, when you guys first started to where you are now, do you think that it's making a resurgence, or do you think, because there was a time period where classic house music was gone, then EDM took over, and then now it's starting to make a slight comeback with the Amo piano and Afro house. Do you think that that's the case, or do you believe that it never left? Just more people are starting to listen to it now with the advent of social media.
I think it's the culture. They don't have music culture. So they don't listen to classics because they know they don't give a shit.
Right.
I think it's coming back though.
I'm 53. Every 5 years, every year, a Robinez or the Classic or CSC Music Company or Aretha Franklin, every year are a new remix. This kind of teenagers, they so sexist, but they like reggaeton. And Latin reggaeton is the most sexist letters that you can listen everywhere. I think they don't. So lights on, but nobody's home.
Yeah.
I don't know, but here in Florida, you go to a club, and what you're gonna listen to is basically, country music sometimes, and EDM sometimes. There's really no house music here in Florida. Very, very little. I mean, and the little there is, like in Tampa or places, Orlando, it's very clicky, like you were saying, very clicky, and it's very hard to get in those groups. So that's my 2 cents.
I tell you what. So, BZ, Reyes, Karen, Milk, y'all met him. I'm gonna tell you what my friend Terrence told me. He explained it pretty concrete, right? For us, when we were growing up, you just said it, Lab, it's a feeling, right? And a lot of the music that's created, I think somebody else just said it, we used a lot more hardware back then than we do now. So the medium has changed. Here's where I'm going with this. Back in those days with the hardware, it hit us in the soul, right? We all felt it. So that's more of an emotional impact that we have with our music. Nowadays, and I think it's partially because the medium changed, it's all very tweaky, and a lot of the bass and all the, like the 808 in there, and the 303 is not really in there. And now it's more adrenaline focused, which is why all the kids are growing up and they're going to these electronic dance music, festivals, and it's the quick hit. That's the reason why Lab, everybody wants to be like on video. Everybody's looking at all these visuals. Right. It's the quick hit. It's the adrenaline focus now. That's the attraction, not the emotion. The emotion, you got to have imagination. But for the adrenaline, it's got to be out there. It's got to be a video. It's got to be pyro. It's got to be lights. It's got to be a sound stage. Now, with my piano and everything that's going on now, fortunately for me, back when I was in England, I'm seeing the same thing that happened when UK Garage hit. UK Garage is still going on, but back when it first came out, it's the same thing that happened then. It's the same thing happening now with my piano. Everybody went one way. They kind of got tired of the sound. They started calling house, like we know it, granddad house. I'm pretty sure, my British family understand. They've been there. They've seen it. It moved away from the major clubs. UK Garage came up from the underground Brixton, South London and what. It really rampaged the scene. It was all good. And then it died down. And then things moved to electro and EDM and all this other stuff. So what I'm hoping to happen is with Amapiano, it's not just a phase like UK Garage was, but I can see everybody gravitating to it because it's like the new thing, kind of like Balearic House was back in like the late 90s and all types of stuff. And then once they done with it, they're like, yeah, all right, we use this up. Let's go on to something else. We with emotion will still have it in our hearts.
Right.
But I don't think it's still going to be focused on by those adrenaline junkies who are like in Ultra Music Festival, you name it, whatever festival with nothing but lights and fire and all this other stuff. So I think that things have changed. For me, till now, it comes in waves, but people who feel it, they feel everything that's going on. But those who are adrenaline junkies, they just, they take it in, they use it up, and they on to the next one. So that's my soapbox.
Thanks for sharing, Sean. Hey, Lab, I just sent you a message. Gary in the UK said the screens are dark and blank. How is it on your end? And how is everyone else looking?
I see everybody fine.
I'm fine.
I see everybody pretty good.
Oh, that's okay here.
Yeah,
all good here.
Okay, I'll try and reconnect, guys. I'll try and reconnect.
The video won't drop because I'm the host, and since we pay for this, it goes as long as I want it to. So it shouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. It might be his end. I'm sorry.
No sorry needed. No.
Okay.
Hey, but before you hit the next one, I wanted to ask Ojo what he thought about what's his opinion on that before you go to the next one, Lab.
Okay.
Ojo.
Rephrase the question for me one more time.
Do you think that house music is back on an uptick, or do you think that it has never went away? It's just with the advent of social media and things of that nature that more people are starting to go towards it.
Well, house music has never gone away. For us true house heads, it's always been there. It would never go away. I think the social media has brought out the older generation who had missed house music. Now they have opportunity to hear it on a more regular basis. As for the new, bringing in new, depends on where you're at. Yeah, it depends on where you're at. Chicago, if you're in the cities that have house music, there's always going to be a scene. Chicago, DC, New York, you're always going to see people out. People are always going to be in that feeling for house music. If you go to someplace like Richmond, where we're trying to grow it,
Virginia Beach too.
Yeah, Virginia Beach, we're trying to grow it. It's the people are there, but they won't come out, so you don't see it growing as much. But they do see it on social media and things of that sort. So they're getting a feel from that if that's where they're seeing it. We're trying to get it better there. The younger crowd, it's a struggle bringing that younger crowd in. It's a struggle because, like Sean said, they're looking for that. If you don't have that feeling, it won't last long for them, and they'll go on something else. So it's that you need that quick feel. So yes, it is growing to the older generation that missed it, but for the younger crowd, they're being exposed to it. But if they don't catch it, they don't feel it, then they're gonna move on to something else. So you'll get the little spurts every now and then.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Thank you for what you said. Does anybody? I'm from the old school of house, and when I was DJing back in Chicago, house music wasn't a genre. There wasn't a separation of genre as far as deep house or techno house or anything like that. Pretty much anything that the Hot Mix 5, Farley, Steve Still Curly, Fast Eddie, any of those guys put within the mix, we consider to be house music. Africa Bambaataa, anything that they put within their mix. I didn't discover that Italian disco was Italian disco until recently, because I just called it house music. I didn't know that there was a subgenre of that. Do you all find that there's just too many subgenres of house music? I mean, back in the day, it was just an omelet. Everything that they put in the mix, we just called. Well, we didn't care what it was. If it was in the Hot Mix 5 mix, if Farley was mixing it, we just called it house music. I mean,
yeah, 90% of my mixes are pretty much an omelet or a salad or whatever you want to call it. There's techno, there's tech house, there's old school, there's remixes, there's a little everything. Maybe I'll throw some DJ edits in there. It's all house to me, man.
Anyone else feel?
So do I. I go, house is the simple one, and next the soulful house. The Black Boys or gospel for me is soulful, Chicago style, and the rest is more European. It's the typical house.
Do you think it's all about commercialism?
Yeah.
Just to throw something in there, because, you know, if somebody wants to make a name for themselves, they create a new genre and away they go. Because, you know, it, like yourself, for me, house music was house music. And then all of a sudden, I think it was in '89 in the UK, it just shot off in all different directions. And I'm a house music head, always have been, always will be. And I couldn't keep up with it. So, you know, you get to the point, I still purchase all my records because I believe in supporting the artists. And, you know, you can't buy every single record because it just costs you a fortune. So for me, it's commercialism. You know, people. So, yeah, I think it's just people trying to sort of create new things just for the sake of creating new things. For me, music is music. House music is house music. You either feel it or you don't. And I think Sean summed it up pretty well when he spoke earlier. In the UK, it's always been here. We've been quite fortunate with the likes of Defected, I guess. There was a strong garage scene. There was a very strong garage scene for a few years. I actually DJ'd in a club called The Warehouse, funnily enough, in the UK. Held the residency for 12 years. So I saw the garage scene come in, and a lot of the house music DJs dropped it. They didn't want to DJ in the main room. They wanted to go downstairs because they didn't want to touch the garage. So it was quite interesting to watch it. And I think it lasted for a couple of years, and then the house music scene came back in. But from then on in, for me, it's always been in the UK. I think we've been quite fortunate on that side.
Okay.
I just been in London Underground, and the garage, Tough Jam, all this kind of stuff, starting the house parties. 95, 99 is the one that I used to go to Ministry of Sound. I live very close in Elephant and Castle, and it was huge. All the garage, the best record shops, Uptown Records in Soho, Pure Growth in Archway, the best ones. I have to pay meals to the fucking guys in the record shops for keep the best record for me, because the good records is for the good DJs, especially white labels, bastards.
Well, you know, back in the day, the records were $2 and $3 when you used to go to the record shops in Chicago. They were $2, $3, $4. Now I went to buy a record recently, and I think it was $45, and I was like, yeesh.
In London, it was seven, 8 quick.
Right now,
Cass, when is the next joint coming out? $1.29, $1.50 sound good to me, right?
Besides that, on Mondays I go to Uptown Records and Virgin record shops in Oxford Street, and HMV, the huge record shops. And my best house, it was Simon Dunmore. Now it's defected, but before it was AMPM, also Sulfuric. Respect.
Go ahead, Milk D.
Wow. Now, I was just going to say, you're spot on. You know, back in the day, you can get a 12-inch single for $2.99. You know, I grew up in South Jersey, but lived 10 miles from Philadelphia. And my brother and I would get on the speed line, which is train above ground, go over to Philly to Sound of Market, Funko Market, and get records for $2.99, 12-inch.
Mm-hmm.
So we had crates of records. I mean, we still have these records, but records are ridiculous now.
Yeah.
You know, it really is.
I think that's more of the popularity of hi-fi systems coming back and also DJing itself. There's a lot of DJs now. I mean, sheesh. And I'm not knocking DJs. You know, to each its own. But, you know, back in the days when we were DJing, it wasn't a popularity contest. You either love it or you didn't. And now it's just DJs. And with the advent of the controller, which I have one, so I'm not knocking controls. I have turntables, controllers, and CDJs because I feel like you should learn them. You should learn on all of them. But I just think it's just an oversaturation of things and a culture, especially with house music, and a culture that was more underground. I have a quick comment on YouTube. Zelly13 says the young generation loves Garage House now. They love Roy Davis Jr. and other Chicago GAs out there. It's a big movement, and I think he's in LA. So.
Oh, it's actually a lady.
I'm sorry.
No, you didn't know, Lab. It's actually a good friend of mine. She's actually a doctor, and she's a lover of house music. Zelly, thank you for showing up and also commenting. But go ahead, Lab.
So yeah, I think that's why the records are so high. One more other question I have for you all while I have you here, and this is a great conversation. And I didn't write down any of these questions. I thought I could remember them from the top of my head. Duh, my fault. I can't remember. I had a slew of them 2 hours ago. I was like, I'm gonna ask this. I'm gonna ask that. Now I can't remember 2 of them to save my life. So I apologize for my hesitation on what I'm asking. I'm just trying to think of what it was I was going to ask you. I'm so excited about this conversation. I have been trying to do this for the last 8 years with minimal success. So I'm kind of like a kid in a candy shop. I have never seen so many people who love house in one area at one time having a conversation about it. So you have to excuse my smiling from ear to ear. I'm just excited to be here, and I'm hosting it. I'm just excited that Milk D invited me.
I got you.
Milk, I'm gonna let you ask the question while I try to think of what it was I was gonna ask.
Well, I just wanted to say, you know, I told you and Fernie before everyone joined. Maybe Ojo knows this, but I started DJing when I was 11. Thanks to my big brother, Derek. I mentioned about going to get records. You know, he had 2 turntables. They were curved arm, Fisher curved arm, Gemini mixer. And I was mesmerized by my brother being a DJ and always looked up to my brother. And I fell in love with it. I was also breakdancing back then in South Jersey. But the music, the mixing, you know, I've never been a scratcher. Even to this day, I don't scratch. I like to blend and do different mixtures, even at a young age. But I fell in love with hip hop first, and then it was freestyle. Then it was house. Being out of South Jersey, you know, North Jersey was big for house. New York, of course. Freestyle, of course. But I didn't stick with the DJing. Starting when I was 11, like I said, but life happened and it just kind of was pushed to the side. I got a job at Rolls-Royce Aerospace back in 2013, and I had to go out to the UK for 3 months in Newcastle. I worked in Sunderland, but lived in Newcastle, which is funny because at that time, they were rivals for the Premier League, which is their football, our soccer. Well, Newcastle was a party town. So me and my buddy who flew out from here to the UK for work and for school, we went to this club called Tup Tup, and they were playing house. And house came back to me like that. But I haven't been a fan of house for a long time until 2013. So do the math, 10 years. But I've always loved house, but it was not my top priority. Now I eat and sleep house. In 2020, Rolls Royce closed. And it was a blessing in disguise because I was working for a good company, you know, aerospace. I was the one that said the engine can go on the plane, you know, so I was the inspector. I'm in a dark room looking for cracks and indications, stamping off engines to go on planes. That's what I did. But I worked second shift. So this is where the blessing comes in. I'm married. I never saw my wife because I was always at work at night. Well, when the place closed, I started my own radio station, Yurrrp Radio. Y'all hear me say Yurrrp all the time. Absolute blessing.
Where'd you get that name from? Like,
well,
when I see it, I was like, where'd he come up with that? Like,
well,
it's slang.
Well,
yeah, I want to know
thing
too.
Is, it's on my website. No, I don't do drugs at all, Fernie. But I was playing a video game called SOCOM, and it's like Call of Duty, but way better on the PlayStation.
Okay.
And I was in a room with a bunch of my clanmates. We were called clanmates. I know that's a crazy name to use, but that's what we were called. And each player was called a soldier, and I was called No Limit Soldier. And I met Method Man on there, you know, Tikal, Clifford Smith. Everybody knows Wu-Tang. So I'm friends with him. I'm in this room with him and a bunch of other soldiers. We all had soldier names. I was the last one alive. Everybody else on my team was dead, and I couldn't hear them, but they could talk to each other. And I stunk at the game, but I was the one that won the round, and I hollered out, Yurrrp! Once the game, you know, it said winner, you know, Navy SEALs winner, they heard, like, the whole room, they could hear me, and they were like, Milt, what was that? I don't know. They said, man, what you drinking? I said, I'm drinking some Jack Daniels. You know, I was drinking some Jack Daniels, and I was like, I don't know. So the thing is, everybody, that there is a saying in New York, they say Yurrrp. I didn't get it from that. I've been saying Yurrrp since 1999. Okay. It wasn't 2 years ago that I trademarked it, you know, so, you know, it's my name, you know, my word. It's basically excitement. It's love on steroids. So I have yurrpradio.com, as you guys know. I have merchandise on there. You know, my station is all genres of music, but my love is house. I've transitioned it from Thursday to Sunday, except Sunday mornings is gospel, Christian contemporary church music. But Thursday through Sunday is house on my station. All the other days is, you know, other genres. My brother and I started this station, but I'm the one that's really doing the station. Like I mentioned before, you guys tuned in, and Sean has done a station, you know, Andy Jacobs is on a station, BZ's doing it. It's a lot of work, but I love it. It's just a little bit more difficult now because now I'm working again. So when I lost my job, I had all this idle time. And then lastly, I'm trying to be a house music producer. It's been a challenge, like I mentioned earlier in the show. I'm not giving up on it. Like I said, dream it, believe it, achieve it. As a DJ, I bring a lot of energy. You know, I'm jumping around. I'm always on the mic. I'm always trying to get people involved. I want to bring that excitement in my music when I produce it, so that they'll say, okay, that's a Milk D's track. I have not come close to that yet. It's been frustrating. You know, Ojo knows, Sean Travolta knows, Kaz, and some of my listeners know that I talk to, but I'm not giving up on it. House music is now my refound passion since 2013. It's not going anywhere. Like I said, I can play all genres of music, but house is now number one. It went from 3 to 1. So that's a quick, what, 5-7 minutes? It wasn't quick, but Lab, hopefully you have your question. But please, everybody, tap into yurrpradio.com, share it, check out the merchandise, check out my website, see what I'm all about. I gave you some clip notes, but it's a family-owned station, brings love and energy worldwide. And I've met a lot of people from Yurrrp Radio. So shout out to all my listeners. I appreciate you guys.
I'll be up there next week, bro. Meet you in person.
That's right, man. Terry Hunter at Virginia State.
Yeah, I'll be up there, bro. I'm coming up, and then I'm gonna see Sean. I'm staying out there. Want to go see Sean? You know what I'm saying?
Man. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to make it, man. I gotta play later that night at Flash, man. But
I'll be. If I don't see you at Terry Hunter, I'll see you at Flash, bro.
Most definitely.
All right.
That's why.
Thank you, Milk D. I appreciate your comments. My question was, we were talking about Amo Piano and Afro House. I have friends of mine from Chicago, a couple DJs, and when they come down here to Atlanta, their main complaint is that that's all they play here for house music is Amo Piano and Afro House. They don't stray away from that genre whatsoever. It kind of just stays with that. And I told them that that's what they know. That's what they know. They don't really know any other genre house. And no offense to anybody who mixes Afro House and Amo Piano, it's kind of easy to mix. You don't really have to put a whole bunch of it in there. But it's kind of easy to mix. It's 120 to 125, between those BPM. So it's kind of easy for them to mix. Do you all think that genre of music is going to be oversaturated? Do you think it's going to be to a point? And we talked about this earlier for a second, but I want to know all of you guys' opinion. Do you think that's going to be an oversaturation to where that's just going to be another subgenre that's not used much, like trance? Trance was a genre at one time. Everybody liked trance for about 2.3 seconds, and then it kind of went away. I don't really hear much about trance house anymore, but I do you think that that's going to happen with Amo Piano and Afro House eventually?
I don't.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know, because I'm also pretty new to the kind of like Afro, house. But I think, because at least like here in Tallahassee, with a lot of college kids who kind of gravitate, more towards like the mainstream top 40 type of stuff. I felt like that whole like Drake album kind of brought it at least got like the younger people kind of more on that like sound and kind of like introduced, because like literally everybody was like playing it here, and I'm just like, this genre is like, this type of sound is like been around, but you guys are just kind of hearing about it. I feel like as long as like there's like a like mainstream overhead, like even like artists like Burna Boy and like these kind of like Afro like artists, I feel like people will kind of keep it around. And I think at least in like the like younger generation, I feel like people will kind of start to explore it like more. At least here in kind of a college setting. I don't know how it is in other places, but I feel like in order to kind of get people on board with things like here, there has to be some type of like mainstream like connection, or else like people won't even like bother. And so yeah, I think it kind of depends on like location.
Yeah, if I can jump in, I think as far as those specific genres go, the trend, at least that I'm seeing, is that Afro House is definitely making inroads, if you will, and it's going to be around. It's going to be around for a hot minute. You know, whether that's a good thing or not. I mean, really, I think it's subjective. But I mean, I'll tell you, I think for conversation's sake, about 2-3 months ago, Quantize Records, who there's actually a connection here in Richmond. It's kind of weird that, you know, I really consider Richmond this like second tier, like backwater market, but yet there's like 3-4 people from Richmond in this group. It's kind of weird, but that's a good thing. But on that note, like I said, Quantize Records had like a DJ competition where you would submit like a 15-minute mix, and then you could open. They had their like little mini music festival. And I know, if you don't know, you know, DJ Spen, who I love as a DJ and as a producer. You know, that's his label, and they got some dope content on Quantize. So, you know, I decided, what the hell, I got nothing to lose. Let me submit a mix. And it was funny that you were able to listen to the other contestants. I guess I don't obviously I have no idea how many people entered, but the top 5 were posted to SoundCloud, and then, you know, somebody won. I didn't. but the funny that I would bring it up is, the funny part was all the top 5 mixes that you could check out were all Afro House.
All Afro.
And I was really blown away, because if you listen to the Quantize record catalog, you know, it's all soulful house, it's all R&B, it's all, you know, very, very vocal, male, female driven, and, you know, very sexy. And so that's what I did. You know, that's the mix that I put forth. And it was so funny when I talked to some of my buddies about it. They were like, yeah, you know, it was like, I just don't understand. And they were like, oh yeah, if you would have done an Afro House mix, you probably would have got in. And I'm just like, wow, that's kind of funny to me. And actually, just recently, I actually played at a place here in Richmond that, like, a long story short there, I was playing a lot of up-tempo, you know, borderline house, recognizable stuff. And I actually had, which blew me away, I actually had a very nice young girl ask me to play some Afro House. And I was just like, wow, you know, and I tend to try and play very accessible. I mean, Richmond is not a hotbed metropolis by any stretch of the imagination. So anytime that I do play, thank goodness I've gotten the reputation that if you get me, you're going to get up-tempo stuff. And depending on what the event is, I'm always trying to squeeze some house in there anyway. But I, you know, the mixes I do with like Vince Slay for house sessions, or the mixes I've done for Milk D, I tend to go deeper because I can. But, you know, when I'm playing out in front of people, I tend to be a little bit more commercial. Just so the crowds in front of me, I'm going to play stuff that they know, you know, but I'm going to play a house remix of it. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of harkens back, I think, to the question you asked earlier, is house making a comeback? You know, I think obviously from the other answers and listening to the other people in this really cool group, we all have the passion, we all have the love, we all have the knowledge and the history of what house music is and what it means to us. And it's personal and it's emotional. But we also have to remember and all this good classic stuff was really underground music.
Mm-hmm.
You know, back in the 80s, back in the 90s, I've been spinning since 1980. So I'm old. And I knew back then that all this shit that we're talking about is all underground, you know, and it started, if you really kind of track it, it really kind of started to kind of bubble up from the underground and kind of cracking the mainstream overall in like the mid-early 90s, you know. And when I started hearing records, I'll never forget the first time I heard Crystal Waters on the radio, I was like, this is underground record. How is this crossed over? How is this, you know, become mainstream? And it's been a slow, gradual thing. I try to look at it as a glass half full, you know, scenario. Because I mean, at one moment in my life, I was affiliated with Billboard, so I got to see and be part of the machine of how music is a commodity and how it's marketed, especially dance music, and how it's kind of manufactured and put out there as a piece of, you know, it's a widget that you're supposed to buy, you know what I'm saying, and consume. And when you kind of look at it that way and see where house music, because that is the birth of everything, if you really get down to it, to me, and that how that's grown into EDM and dance and techno and progressive house, electro house, trance, whatever you want to call it, you know. Like I said, looking at it from a scenario of glass half full, I think it, over the last 10 years, it's definitely made, dance music in general has made inroads, especially in the US. I do think maybe the grass is greener on the other side of the pond. I've always held the feeling that the music scene, when it comes to house music and dance music over in the UK and in Europe, is a lot more progressive than it is here statewide. You know what I'm saying? I mean, obviously there's pockets, Chicago, like Joe said, Chicago, New York, DC, you know, LA, Denver, you know, they're you know, Florida, you know, with breaks and stuff. I mean, there's obviously pockets in the continental US that subscribe to, you know, house music. And like I said, Detroit, Chicago, where this stuff was actually made and born, you know, but it still isn't the prevalent, in the forefront music powerhouse that say hip hop has become or R&B has become. Where over in overseas markets, it is, you know.
That's exactly what I was going to ask. The overseas market still they love house music overseas.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's always been there. It's always been that way. I don't know why it. I guess because we just have so many creative people, or because I just don't know why it didn't take off like that here. Because to me it was here first, but I don't know.
Right? No, you're right. I mean, with the cradle of and the invention of the house music that we love and we know, obviously Chicago, Detroit is where it started. You know, but again, I think if I had to give an answer, and not to sound repetitive, I think back then, and like I said, really in the 80s, early 70s, 80s, 90s, it was an underground thing. Mm-hmm. You had to know. You had to know somebody that was like, yo, there's this club down the street that's by a bus station that, you drive by this thing and you're like, that place is a whole, that's a club. And then, you show up one Saturday night, you're like, oh my God, this is Mecca. This is incredible.
It's hot, it's sweaty.
Exactly.
No air conditioning.
No AC.
Right.
Yeah. Nations in
light bulbs
DC,
at work.
in Baltimore. The Paradise Garage in New York. I mean, all these really were hole in the wall places that eventually became, they were underground scenes that you had to know, or you knew somebody that knew, and then you were lucky enough to go. You're like, oh, this is amazing. But it wasn't mainstream. You know what I'm saying? And then you finally had artists, even even mainstream, or I mean, like, not to go on another tangent, but I know it was last year or a year and a half ago when Beyonce and Drake dropped their most recent projects, and like it was so funny. Exactly, it was so funny listening to music critics that were like under 30 talking about, oh, Beyonce brought house music back. I'm like, no offense to Queen Bee, but it's like house music didn't go anywhere. It's just she collaborated with people that were in that genre, and guess what? Between Jay-Z and between Puff Daddy and between DJ Khaled, you guys have sampled everything else on the planet.
So it's
like, okay, let's start digging into this genre that even Kanye did. He sampled some house tracks and made some dope shit. But he's from Chicago too, so he knows.
But definitely, they weren't the first people who sampled house music. There is a rap artist by the name of King Son who sampled "Time to Jack" back in 1988.
Oh shit!
That
King
was
Son.
Yeah, he had a song called "In the Club" where "Time to Jack" was his sample. And that was in 88. So they really weren't the first to even sample house music. They were just the first to have the best promotion machine to push it forward like they did do so.
Absolutely.
There was a bunch of hip hop a bunch of hip hop artists that sampled house music back in the day. It was just a thing that it was like side B of the album. It wasn't the A
no doubt
that they were selling. It was the side B. If you flipped over the album to side B and you were like track 2 and you were like, oh my God, what is this? That was the case back then. I'm going to slide to this question, and I've done it. I did it back in 88, but I have a question from YouTube. Says that, can you guys mix house music and rap? And my first rap song that I mixed with house music was LL Cool J, "I'm Bad," and I mixed "Bring Down the Walls" with it. Don't ask me how I did it, but my friend was telling me that can't be done. And I was like, yeah, it can. I mix anything with anything. I don't care what it is. I've done it on my Instagram page where I've mixed old school classic hip hop with
absolutely
piano. I just don't care. I just what I do. But do you all think that that's something that can be done?
My first one, it was LL Cool G doing it.
Right.
I love this R&B stuff.
Doing it well. All right.
Classic.
Yeah, I can hear that.
I can hear
it. Yeah. There's, with the market that I'm in, which when you skew towards an urban market in Richmond, the last time I looked across the board, we're about, according to the radio market, we're like a 63 market, 65 market. When you skew urban, we're like a 27 market. So there's a lot of R&B, a lot of hip hop that gets played in Richmond. And again, I personally play a lot of up-tempo, and I am a download whore. So I am constantly looking for mixes, remixes of content. And I will tell you, I keep a crazy folder of you name the hip hop track, and I probably have a house mix to it. And if there isn't one, I'll make one. To answer the question, yes, that is a thing. And I wouldn't be playing it like in New York or Chicago, if I'm playing to a real house head crowd, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But to a gen pop crowd, to a top 40 crowd, to a general public crowd, absolutely. Like I said, I have a folder with gigs of that shit. Yeah, absolutely. You name the artist, and I guarantee, there's going to be somebody out there that's already done up-tempo, you want to call it progressive, tech house, electro remix, you name it, dude. I've got stuff from Wu-Tang. I got stuff from, Drake. You name the artist. I've got a house mix to it, no doubt.
Anyone else?
Don't forget back in the day that Fast Eddie, Tyree Cooper.
That's right.
Yeah, so that's when hip house came out.
Right.
Tony Scott.
Of them. So
yep.
Sundance, So, yeah, so it's been done.
I tried to get Fast Eddie to join us, but he told me he had something else to do, and I gave him too late of a notice. So that's that.
Yeah, you did tell me that, Lab. Yeah, he really was trying to get Fast Eddie too.
Yeah, him and Steve Silk curled. Steve Silk told me nah, but Fast Eddie was like, if you would have let me know 4 weeks ago, I could have joined you. I was like, well, what? But anyway,
You need 4 weeks. Wow.
But anyway, I have one more question that I'm going to ask, and I'm going to ask. It's going to be controversial. A person on Instagram, not on Instagram, but on YouTube, asked me, "How do we all feel about the popularity of D Nice?" As old heads in the game, most of us anyway. I'm not going to call all of us old heads. Some of you guys may not feel like you're old heads, so excuse my expression.
Somebody needs to read me in. I don't know who that is.
Oh, D Nice. Yeah, he was a rapper. He had that song. I didn't mean.
My name is D Nice, right? That guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
His name is Derek. But he really got popular through the pandemic. You know, when he was doing his lives on Instagram, and I would go live on Instagram. They shut me down. They wasn't shutting D Nice down. You know, you had Michelle Obama in there, and you know, just so many popular people, you know, tapping in. But I'm gonna say I like D Nice, you know, but I don't think he's all that. I think I'm a better DJ than D Nice. He don't bring no energy. He just has his drink. He's got the hat on, and then I'm getting shut down on Instagram. So no, I don't really care for D Nice. I'm gonna keep it 100.
I didn't even know he was
I feel
doing
like
something
it's
like that.
apples and oranges. He doesn't really do the same sort of thing we do or have the same audience. And I can't be mad because he brought a lot of people joy during a very hard time, but you know,
I don't even know what that is.
I feel like it's something different. Like,
I was mad. I was mad.
You were mad. Okay.
You're entitled to feel mad.
But I'm petty too. I was like, man, I've been DJing for 27 years. And I've been trying to be on Instagram, and they shut me down like they do Milk D. And this guy's been going for 72 hours. What's going on?
Yeah, there was a lot of back room, you know, during the pandemic. So you're talking about 2020, 2021, really 2020 is when he kind of blew up, and there was a lot of back room finagling, if you will, because with the onslaught of what happened during the pandemic and literally everybody shutting down, there was this huge surge with individuals, be it famous or not, that discovered
DJing,
streaming. Exactly. And what happened was that guy caught the tiger by the tail. Mm-hmm. And he was just at the right place at the right time with the right notoriety. And he blew up. Mm-hmm. For right or wrong, he did. And then everybody else was like, well, if he's doing it, I'm going to do it. And then what ended up happening was, in a very short amount of time, you know, lawyers got involved, companies got involved, and it was what started happening online started happening in real life, meaning that if you're somebody special, you're going to get to do shit that Joe Blow can't do. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And that's pretty much how it kind of shook out in this like 8-month window, you know? So, you know,
but that's like every aspect of life, though.
Absolutely.
If you know the right people, you can get away with it.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, the whole copyright police started getting involved, and RIAA started getting involved, and even now D Nice ain't doing what he used to do, because then the applicable IP property laws started being enforced with everybody, because they figured out, well, we just can't have every Tom, Dick, and Harry and Jane streaming shit anytime they want.
Right.
You know,
right.
You know. So I mean, things radically changed within like a 16-month window. It was just insane. It literally was like the Wild West when it first started. You know, and you can still do stuff on Twitch and. And again, I think if you do reach a certain threshold, you know, on YouTube and Instagram, you can, you know, if you build your platform, you can do nice type of events, but that's not on the regular. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you know,
I find that I get away with a lot of posting of certain mixes on my Instagram, but I play a lot of obscure songs. So
exactly,
a lot of my music is obscure, and the people didn't hear it before. So I get away with that sometimes, and sometimes I get away with popular hip hop songs if I mix it in with house music songs. So I get away with some things. So I can't complain too much, but I still can hate because I want to.
Actually, you know,
right.
Talking about streaming, a buddy of mine told me on Facebook. I mean, and you know, you talk about technology and AI and algorithms. Like, I know Facebook was notorious for, like, if you were lucky to be on more than 10 minutes before they shut you off, that was an accomplishment. And like, you talking about playing obscure tracks. So what somebody just developed, I shouldn't say developed, I guess they figured out this hack where they would create a track. Like, if they want to do like a 2-hour set, they would do a 2-hour track of ambient noise, like background, like people like in a restaurant. And they would have that for 2 hours. So if they want to do a 2-hour set, they would have like people eating whatever, just ambient noise, like from a restaurant, and have that just underneath the music content. So the algorithm couldn't pick it up. Yeah, they couldn't pick up the music 100% clear, and they were able to stream the entire time. And if you blended it just right, you really couldn't hear the restaurant sound into the background. And I'm like, that's brilliant. I thought that was hilarious. But you know,
genius.
Yeah, it was genius. It was genius. So I you know, people are still doing that, but that's where that came from. And I mean, I guess to answer the question, do you hate the guy? Just like Karen said, you know, it's just one of those things. This guy was somebody famous. He caught the tiger, you know, he caught lightning in a bottle and was able to use the platform to do something bigger and quote unquote better with it. But even he can't do that anymore because it's all caught up now.
Yeah. Okay.
And also, we're all outside now. So it's like,
That's part of that. You can do anything on social media when you were an influencer. You can do anything.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
If you're not, you getting cut, and we're gonna ban you and shadow ban you for like 3 months.
Exactly.
Happened to me too. So yeah.
I have one more question, and then I think I'm gonna let you all go. I know it's getting late in some countries, and I don't want to keep you all. I'm more of a slow mixer. I kind of bring the song in the background, and where you get the excitement of hearing it coming in, and then it drops in smoothly. Do you guys think the new style of, I guess they called it cutting the song? I forget what they called it. It's a kind of just dropping the song in one after the other. Quick mix.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, the quick.
I know what you mean.
Quick mixing.
Yeah, the quick mixing.
No, I know what you mean. I like your style better.
Yeah,
I don't like poop 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 poop. No. And some of the songs that just mix well, the intro and an outro, and the outro and the intro that mix so well.
Yeah.
So that's how I mix. But then again, a lot of people do their mixes on a computer using a DAW. So I think that's what it is. That's how they cut it. They actually do the mix. They put the songs in the DAW, and then they cut the songs like that, and then they make the mix that way. So, but I like your style better.
Yeah.
And that's how I mix. So
I mix slow too. I like my tracks layered. I like my tracks layered.
I discovered a new one that yesterday. They call it chopping, where they kind of get a sample, not a sample, but I forget what they call that, a loop, and then they they loop cutting, and they just loop that in, and then bring the other song in on top of that loop. I think it sounds like trash, but you guys tell me what you think.
Nah, that's a product of the media again. You know, new DJs, a lot of them got, you know, access to all this stuff. and they got to use it. So that's a product of everybody just going in and doing some wizardry with some buttons that they just got, and now it's the heat. I'm dead serious. So that's what I see from my point of view. I mean, I've been mixing on vinyl forever, skip CDJs all the way up until like during the pandemic, right? And now when I go out, you know, you got some people that got Serato, and it's cool, but a lot of them are either, you know, layering in some fades, some samples, and doing all this nice fanciful stuff that don't actually add to the room, right? It's like they performing for TikTok, Instagram, or whatever, and it's a lot of jazz, and there's a lot of poser DJs out there just drumming on stuff, but I'm not feeling it, and it's not entertaining. They're going for the show, but not the actual experience. So that's just my take.
Okay.
No, that's spot on, Sean. That's spot on. Yeah, I can't say nothing else but spot on.
Well, I think that goes back to, you know, do you feel the music in your soul and in your heart, or do you want to just get up there and like twist some knobs and look cool?
They want to get up there, twist the knobs and look cool.
Yeah.
From what I see, that slow mixing, they call the slow mixing for us old people. They call it the old people way of mixing. Nobody does that anymore. I said, well,
I guess I'm old.
You'd be surprised how many people still do that way. Like,
yeah, but our nights last longer.
Right.
Oh,
right.
That's right.
That 4 minute build up, that 4 minute mix. You know, when you bringing that song in, and that it's just something about that feeling when you hear that song, your favorite song coming in. You're like, oh my God, is he about to bring in, you know, whatever the song may be? That's gonna be nice. It's gonna be hot, but you just don't get that as much anymore.
No.
I think like if I'm like mixing like hip hop, like when I would do more hip hop, I would do a lot more like quick mixing, because it is kind of that 8-bar or 4-bar. But like if I'm playing house, I like to kind of like blend more, kind of let, you know, I'll like even like keep my like gain knob turned all the way, and I'll slowly like bring it in, slowly like bring in my highs, and then do like a low swap and just, you know, and then like hit them with that big like bass drum. You know what I'm saying? And so like
I love my drops.
Yeah.
I love them drops, baby.
Yeah. For me, I do it all. I mix it all. It depends on the feel. It just depends on the feeling I have at that moment. Depends on the music. Depends on the sound. What's going on. I do the slow mixing. I'll do the cuts. But you just got to know when to do it.
Yeah, it's got to be a mixture of, not just.
You just can't do it just to be doing it. You got to know when to do it, how to do it, at what point to do it, of the song. You got to know the song. If you don't know it, you just can't do stuff like that. But I try to beat you as hard as I can for 2 hours. But yeah, I mean, the skill.
I have a quick question. So is your mixing style different if you're doing it for like an online stream, online radio show versus in person?
No.
It's the same. It's the same.
I mean, that's me. That's just me. I mean, well, let me take that back. If I'm in a more of a soulful mood, I will do the more of the slow blend. But if I'm banging out, it all depends on the feeling at the time. So, and the song, like I said, you got to know the song. If you don't know the song, then you just can't do stuff like that. So, but it all depends on the mood, the feeling, the songs I'm playing at the time.
Right. Yeah, I didn't mix any different Sunday. I thought I was going to take it easy and be easy and not do any kind of blending or nothing, or no echoing out or no drops. I did it all. I couldn't help it.
Well, I feel like the difference is if you're playing out and you're playing something and the people stop dancing. But you're gonna swap it out.
People
would if you're on, you know.
People aren't dancing these days. This is people at the festivals. This is people at the club, two-stepping, not doing shit. We were the ones that were out there rocking the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? Nobody else was doing that shit. If you watch go to my YouTube and see our Croatia video. You see us rocking more than those fucking young kids.
Right.
Yo, no, that's not the club. This is the club now.
Right, that's the club. Video and the DJ is the club now. But no, back in our day, I mean, the DJ brought the party and brought the sound, but the DJ wasn't necessarily the show. I mean,
no one was standing there staring at the DJ back.
He wasn't the show back then. I mean, everybody wanted to know who was the DJ, and everybody loved when you played the good music, but they wasn't standing there to see just you. They were coming to party, you know. That was the main purpose of being there, was the party. And if the DJ sucked, you wouldn't know that the DJ sucked. But, you know, nowadays it's all about popularity, I guess. Milk D, I'm going to let you ask the last question. Then we're going to let everybody go. I mean, we've been chopping this up for 2 hours now.
Yeah, I just wanted to say real quick, I get so many messages on Instagram. I have to delete some of the comments. You know, everybody's like, hey, bro, you trying too hard. You know, you're trying to gain popularity, you jumping all around. And this is me. Like, everybody DJs differently. I stay in my lane. I don't try and be better than like Tony or Ojo or whomever. I'm not scratching with my toe. I'm not doing all that stuff. But I bring a lot of energy. I'm on the radio station. Nobody can see me, but I didn't change my shirt 3 times because I'm in here jumping around and dancing because music is supposed to make you move. And I'm not trying to be somebody else. This is me. And I had this one DJ, EPMD's DJ, Diamond the Artist, sent me the nicest message because he saw that post. It was like 3 or 4 years ago. And he says, Milk D, he says, why I was attracted to you is because of your energy and your love for DJing. You don't even scratch. I mean, this guy be spinning all around and doing all this. He said, always be you. And there's a lot of haters out there. So I'm saying this to all of us in the room. Do you, be you.
Exactly.
Don't try to fit in. Do not try to be somebody else. All your mixes that I receive from all of you is fire. I'm not just saying it. It's fire. I listen to them before I put them on there, you know, put it on the radio. And everybody in this room is fire. So continue to be you. My question is, this is for everyone. If you had an opportunity to DJ for a venue, where would it be? What is your ultimate venue to DJ at?
I'll let somebody else take that one.
I'll speak real quick. Mambo Bar in Ibiza.
Okay.
Or Ministry of Sound in UK, London.
I think London for me. London or Rome. That way I can just, ciao. I can talk Italian now. I'm kidding. I think London.
London? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just say I'm working on getting hate comments because I haven't yet. And when you do, it means you made it. I know that much. I know when you get hate comments, you made it.
Press a lot of buttons.
I'm not getting enough hate.
Press a lot of buttons, jump around, pretend like you're pressing buttons, jump around.
I'm working on it.
And do a lot of effects, and I guarantee you will be in the hate category.
I get it all the time.
I don't think I have a club goal. But you know, I think like most of us here, if you can get a good crowd to respond and just to be into it, and that can literally be 20 people, but if they're into it, I think that's the best. So I'm really not picky, right? It doesn't have to be a certain city, a certain country. Any event where, I mean, no one likes playing to empty rooms, that sucks. But if you can get 50 people that are into it and not with the cell phone, right? And you can tell the difference. We've all seen online videos where it's this massive thing and everyone looks bored out of their mind, but it's some famous DJ, right? And you look out in the crowd and you're like, they're just literally standing there. And you're like, I don't know how that's fun. Now, I haven't DJ'd that place yet, so maybe that is fun. I don't know, right? Maybe DJing 10,000 people is awesome and you just got to be there. I don't know. But when I don't know about you guys, but do you ever look past the DJ that's on his social into the crowd? Sometimes it's fantastic, and sometimes it's like, huh? Like they look bored. I don't know. Sometimes. And so that's not why I'm doing it. I'm not doing it to be on a stage with X amount of people. But if they're into it, I think that's the best. So.
Gotcha.
I recently discovered a club on YouTube in Ibiza called High, where they have a DJ booth in the bathroom.
Oh, I saw that. I saw that.
I think I want to DJ in the bathroom. I think it's something about
how convenient.
Right. I think it's something about getting people hyped once they, go in the bathroom and do their business and coming out and jumping around and having a good time. I don't know. It was just something about them having a DJ booth in the bathroom that just like, oh my God, I need to play in that bathroom. I never had a club idea before then. I just saw this like 2 days ago. I'm like, I gotta do it. I saw the Martinez brothers doing it, and I was like, I need to be in that bathroom. Like, so for me, I want to be at High in the bathroom. If anybody's listening from High, DJ Lab wants to be in your bathroom DJing. You don't need to put on main stage, none of that. Straight to the bathroom is where I want to go.
Yeah, I so good. So just a little side note about me. I'm really into recovery. So I've been sober from alcohol and drugs for 3 years now, and I'm
congratulations, bro.
Congratulations.
Word. Good job, bro.
That's an
Word.
accomplishment.
And so I actually, and I can post in here, I actually like run a IG page. It's called We Boast Sessions, and it's just essentially like where like I highlight other artists who are in recovery, DJs, producers, and there's this one club in Melbourne, Australia. It's called Kitchen Club, and it's literally a like sober friendly like club, and they have all like non-alcoholic like beverages. They have a bowl non-alcoholic like bar, and they have like these like day parties, and it just looks like a vibe. Like no one's on their like phone, people all like just dancing and just that like energy just looks awesome. So that's kind of like my like dream place to like DJ.
That's dope, T-Snig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go wherever.
Proud of you too, bro. Proud of you, man.
Appreciate you.
Yep.
Yeah,
right,
man.
Anybody else have any more questions? Any more comments? I really appreciate you all joining us, giving us such good comments and questions. It has been a pleasure. I'm not going to cut off unless I just wanted to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, Milk D, for orchestrating this whole thing. Because without you, it wouldn't have happened, to be honest with you. I don't really know that many DJs that participate in such things like this. So to be honest with you, it shows how people really rock with you, and you've got to be a good guy to get 15 people from different time zones and regions to come into a Zoom and talk about house music and DJing. So that has to show what type of person you are. And I really thank you all of you all, for joining us and partaking in this. We will do it again. I'm hoping I'm hoping if we all can get the schedules back together again like we did today, you know, maybe in June sometime to try to do it, give us a break, and then, you know, summertime's coming, so you have all the summer events. All of us fly DJs are going to be doing our summer events, so, you know, we're going to be busy, but we're going to try our best to get this thing going again. Anybody have any comments, questions, or anything before we go?
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks for doing this. This was awesome.
Big
I've never
pleasure.
been a part of this, and I appreciate being a part of this. This shows where the Lover House is, man.
Oh, it's still.
It's just nice to
I
talk to
appreciate
people
you.
who get it.
Y'all, we are all dope.
Right.
We all
Cass, before
do.
you go, make sure everybody follows everybody. I hope everybody can follow everybody on Instagram.
Yeah.
Get us a list of everybody's names, and post it up or send it in an email or something like that, and then we can all follow each other and do all that good stuff. Like, I need to cut like 500 more on YouTube.
I put the pictures with my social address all over there.
And this video will be available on my YouTube channels. We have 2 of them. Misfits Radio, Misfits Media Group is streaming live now, but it'll be available. And if any of you guys want a copy of it, you can email me and I'll send you a WeTransfer of it. Just let me know, because I already did record it. Other than that, it's been a pleasure. I thank you all. Mike, do you have anything else you want to say?
Well, I just want to say something real quick. Okay. First and foremost, thank you, Lab, for hosting. Great job, bro. Thank you to all the participants for being here. My brother Ojo, he's in Illinois right now. He tapped in. I got Fernie all the way from Spain, and then we had people from the UK. I got to find out what happened to Daz Vegas, because he was really excited. He's from London. Hopefully he'll make the next one. But for all those that tapped in, the listeners who left comments, we truly appreciate it. Let's keep house music alive, everybody.
All right. Thank you all so much.
All right.
We'll send out an email when we do it again. And it's been a pleasure. You guys have a great night.
Nice meeting you all.
Or morning, or whatever it is you are, whatever reason you are.
Well, whatever time it is where you at.
Well, have a great night.
Have a great night, everybody.
All right.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Good night, everybody. Much love. I really appreciate it.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Deuces.
Recording stopped.